The Bankroll Challenge had its greatest day in its history. Week after week after week, we'd fill in a spreadsheet with nothing to show for it. All of our big wins hidden elsewhere, subterfuge, cooking the books. But it all changed yesterday thanks to one pimply-faced rookie quarterback, Justin Herbert. I can't do this. I can't do this the whole show. We had a good day yesterday, guys. The Bankroll Challenge is officially on the board. We had criticisms earlier this year. Peter, it's not the Bankroll Challenge. It's not fair that you win elsewhere, but then it's not reflected on the spreadsheet. But I did not waver. Maybe I did a little bit. But in my head, I did not waver. I said, no, we must be true to the Bankroll Challenge. We must be true to it. And I haven't even updated it yet because I wanted to do it on stream with you guys, the real ones who have been here since the beginning, watching me take a bath week after week after week. Let's look at this lineup here. We're going to talk all about it. The main spy, the big spy, 5,555 people. We had a nice sweat yesterday. Ultimately came in 14th place. I had all 4 p.m. guys going other than Browns D. So I was already starting to get pretty excited about this lineup yesterday when the chalk in the low-scoring games weren't really hitting at 1 p.m. and all I had was Browns going and they put up 20. I said, okay, this thing might be able to cook here. This thing might be able to cook. We'll break down the lineup, but let me enter the spreadsheet. I want to see how we're doing here. So we finished in 14th place. 14th place. That's pretty nice. 14 out of 5,000. I'm going to try not to say shots on goal. $2,000. Boom. Look at that. Look at what that does to the current bankroll. We are cooking. This puts us in, it won't even round up. It's telling me I'm in the 0th percentile. Is that even possible? Is my Excel spreadsheet broken? I would say that means I won if I'm in the 0th percentile. Some Excel wizard tell me how to get this to say the right thing. How many points did we have? We had 190.74 points. What was the cash line? 1160 spots paid here. 1160. Let's see what the cash line is. 151.08. 151.08. We cashed with 40 points to spare. We did it. We did it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Let me check in on the chat. We got Willis. We got No More Snowflakes. We got Mad Max, who will never play Lamar again. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I did know that Taysom Hill was tight end eligible on FanDuel. I had missed it. Luckily, I got a push alert a few minutes before lock, and I did hear that that was the case. Let's see here. Yeah, I know. 190 would have shipped the $100 entry 50K spy. Yeah, I was in that one as well. Didn't do as well. And now that you say it, I now kind of need to check. Oh, that must have been a different one because this one, 202.04 would have still got me there. Oh yeah, we are going to talk correlation today. We are going to talk correlation. Lots of correlation in this lineup. I'll talk about Schultz. The people want to talk about Schultz. I mean, Schultz was in the air yards by low model. How do you not play Dalton Schultz? We got Eric giving me Excel tips here. Let's go do some Excel. Is this? You're right. I did actually know that. There we go. 0.3 percentile. That was like my height in high school. I kept asking the doctor, when am I going to grow? My dad's 6'5" and I'm 5'1". Anyways, good morning, champ. Good morning, doinks. And yes, I did take down my own contest. And look, I'm not happy about it. The only thing driving me to take down my own contest is because Davis Maddock name is at the top of the cumulative points leaderboard that DraftKings has. And I can't live with myself staring at Davis Maddock at the top. I will not rest until I unseat Davis Maddock from my own challenge. And then everyone else can start winning. Okay, let's talk about this lineup. If you guys watched my show on Friday with James McCool, we built a similar lineup to this. It was a Herbert double stack. And the reason I landed on this stack was because I liked all the creative ways you could stack it outside of Keenan. Obviously, Keenan was going to catch some ownership, but it wasn't anything insane. I think Keenan, if he gets up to 40, 45%, then you're kind of like, all right, maybe there's better options here. But in this 25% range, I was completely okay with it. I did have another lineup I ran in the red zone, $50 single entry. That was a Herbert double with Keenan, but I used Jalen Guyton instead of Mike Williams. But here, I wanted to get to Mike Williams. I thought he was the better of the two secondary options. That obviously works out with him getting loose for a big touchdown there. And then the bring back. I had entertained all three of those guys. Crowder, who was more expensive, Perriman in that mid-range, in the mid-4s, and then Denzel Mims as the true punt. And ultimately, I was pretty excited about Mims's role. Many of you know I have rookie fever. I can't get enough of these guys. I like building my DFS lineups as if they are dynasty squads. But Denzel Mims, his role keeps growing each week. He's getting a ton of air yards, negative game script. And man, I need to see the air yards on this game, because when I was sweating that game down the stretch, it was just like deep shot to Mims, deep shot to Mims. I think he had 8 targets and only 3 receptions. And based on the throws I saw, it seemed like it was more Joe Flacco's fault than Denzel Mims. So pretty classic double stack bring back there. I just like attacking this Jets team. I mentioned it, similar spot that the Chiefs had a few weeks ago, where there's blowout risk. And even with the defense scoring the touchdown, the Jets kept it close enough that the Chargers kept the feet on the gas. And man, Keenan Allen, his workload is just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. New York Jets, ironically, in the RotoGrinders chat, says he had the exact same Herbert double with no Jets bring back. Yeah, Bales got 8th place in this, and he had a Herbert double with Keenan and Mike Williams with no bring back either. I have a hard time not doing bringbacks, especially when the prices are really nice. I mean, at 3,300, it's hard for him to completely hurt you there. So to me, that seemed like a logical bringback. And I thought Perriman was nice. And like I said, I used Crowder in the other one. But yeah, I thought there was, if that whole idea of the Jets needing to keep it close so Herbert could access a ceiling, to me, that necessitated one of these Jets guys having a good game. It ended up being Perriman with the bigger game because he had that touchdown. I did have the big dog in some lineups here, but it didn't fit with this one. And so then we can talk about, I had 2 other secondary correlations. So I had Dalvin Cook and Dalton Schultz. And yesterday, almost all of the lineups I built had Dalvin Cook at the start with one Dallas Cowboy piece. Some lineups I had it as Michael Gallup. I had mentioned on a couple shows, one of the things I liked about a Dalvin Cook Michael Gallup pair is it worked out perfectly for a 2v2 pivot to Zeke and Adam Thielen, which I thought would be really nice as far as getting upside and leverage on the Dalvin Cook ownership. And I actually did that swap in a ton of lineups where I was buried because we had the benefit of knowing how the 1 p.m. games went. And because we also had some nice 4 p.m. options with Aaron Jones, you could have Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Zeke. I thought it made a lot of sense to build with Dalvin Cook almost everywhere, knowing you could pivot. In the RotoGrinders Single Entry series, I actually did this and salvaged a min cash with this pivot. So I had the Lamar Jackson double. You mentioned Derrick Henry. I wanted to get Derrick Henry in over here. And I got the bagel from Marquise Brown. The O in Soldier stands for 0. I think I've used that joke now twice in the past 12 hours. I'm turning into a dad, and I don't even have any children. But anyways, I knew I couldn't win this tournament once I had the 0 from Marquise Brown. So I pivoted my Dalvin Cook, and I think I actually had CeeDee Lamb in this one because I think on FanDuel I was able to afford CeeDee Lamb over Gallup. But I pivoted it to Zeke and Thielen. So those are some of the moves that I think help salvage min caches and stuff I think we can continue to talk through. Sometimes the slate doesn't work out. It's not as forgiving as far as the kind of late swaps options you have. But in this one, it worked out. So anyways, I let Dalvin Cook ride here. Like I said, I had so many guys going. I knew my lineup was going to be unique. I didn't think I needed to. I felt like I had a good head start with the Browns and all of this PMR. Oh, that sweet, sweet PMR going. I'm going to circle back to the chat here in a sec, but I'll just finish talking about this last correlation here. Michael Pittman and Aaron Jones. And man, I was shocked at the Aaron Jones ownership here. Everywhere I looked at ownership on the week, he was projected in the 10 to 15% range. And I thought in the SPY, I thought he could approach 15 to 20%. I was hoping to catch it in the 10 to 15. I don't know if people were late swapping off of him. But man, there's a few of these guys, Will Fuller, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, like when they are sub 10%, they are great plays because we know the ceiling is through the roof. And then I wanted to correlate it here with Michael Pittman. I thought he was really emerging as the Colts' #1 receiving option there. He actually didn't have a huge day target-wise, but he did take that one pass to the house there, and that really salvaged his day. And it was just, it was a game I wanted pieces of. I thought it was interesting that it was the highest total on the slate. It was in a dome, and it wasn't going to catch a ton of ownership. And so I didn't have the stomach to go with the stack. You know, I think you could have done Rodgers, Adams stacks, but I just didn't love it. But I did really like this Aaron Jones, Michael Pittman pairing, and I had it in a lot of lineups. You can see I had it over even on FanDuel as well. So that's the lineup, guys. I mean, built this with the correlations I liked. I ended up, we've talked about one of my leaks being just plugging in a punt defense. You can see in my other lineup over here, Falcons defense. This was one of the punts I put in against Taysom Hill. It doesn't get there. And man, a 15-point difference is pretty massive. Pretty massive. So I was happy to get the Browns, who I thought were in a really good spot at home. And then you get lucky. You get lucky with the pick six. That's what we're doing with defenses, just giving ourselves a position to get lucky. And the fact that they were under 10% here at 3,000, I think worked out. Here we go. Fleeter Overzet with the repeat jokes. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. Was Zeke and Cook together a consideration? I didn't consider that one. Partly because if I was using Cook, I wanted to take advantage of all the cheap Dallas pieces. I thought Schultz, Gallup, and Lamb were all really viable and underpriced there. And again, with tight end, I just wanted to correlate it too. And in this lineup, I didn't want to use Hunter Henry. I think I definitely could have. I liked Mike Williams a lot. So I left that tight end spot open. And then when I'm looking at these correlations, it was Schultz was the play that kind of stood out to me to correlate with Dalvin Cook. Did ownership drive a Bird bring back versus Myers? I don't know which lineup you're talking about. I know some people definitely had some Bird bringbacks, which I think was incredibly sharp. Bird, another guy who was take a drink in the air yards by low model. And Myers really heavily owned. So I thought that was a really nice leverage pivot for people who got on it. I had a hard time with that game because I didn't know how to stack it creatively. And I guess Bird would have been the creative way to stack it. I really would have appreciated you taking the Falcons in your own league. Yeah. So yeah, as always, I run my main SPY lineup in the Bankroll Challenge League here. And oh yeah, that's why we're here. It's Smash Mouth Bucks there. Yep, that 15-point swing would have given it to Smash Mouth. We're bouncing all over the place today, but let's see here what you had, Smash Mouth. Ooh, wow. Okay. The Vikings onslaught. Kirk, Cook, Thielen, Jefferson. Bring it back with Zeke and Gallup. Okay, you just full onslaughted this game. Wow. And then you have Claypool as a one-off, Goddard as a one-off. Man, we talk about this a lot, right? In these small contests, 200 people in this league because DraftKings won't let us make it bigger. You identify the game that shoots out, and you can win these smaller contests. Pretty sick. Pretty sick. Like you wouldn't toss this lineup into the Millie Maker. You're drawn really thin because you can't survive a Michael Gallup getting 4.9 points. But this is, I think, a really sharp lineup here for a small field contest. It's something that Leone has really gotten me on more in building our tilt space lineups because we're normally playing these contests that are less than 500 people. And I think this was the perfect spot to attack it because you had the cheap pieces here. Jefferson underpriced, Michael Gallup underpriced, Adam Thielen underpriced. Intuitively, it's hard. I wouldn't run this lineup in the SPY because it's just like, how are Dalvin Cook, Jefferson, and Thielen all going to get there? They basically did, but I think this lineup makes a ton of sense in small field. So really nice lineup, Smash Mouth Bucks. And I'll also mention, because we have Thanksgiving week, I did already create a league for Thanksgiving. I made it a little, maybe I should have made it the full 200. I was like, I don't know if we can fill this by Thanksgiving. It does seem like this will fill. So I have the link. If you're watching on my channel, it's the pinned comment down below. If you want to hop in the Thanksgiving Pete's Bankroll Challenge League, we can all mess around on this 3-game slate here. Let's see here. Can you look at my lineup and see where I went wrong? 218th in the SPY. Sure. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. 218th. A-Kane, is that you? I hope it's you. I would hate to reveal a lineup that wasn't you. I assume 218. Here we go. Sorry. Huntman. That makes more sense. Richard Hunt. Aaron Rodgers to Adams. Bring it back with Pittman. Oh, double stack. Yeah. Rodgers, Adams, Tanyan. Like that. Bring it back with Pittman. Play Dalvin Cook and Zeke in the same game. I think that's fine. And then you played one-off Chris Conley, one-off Brandon Cooks, and Browns D. I don't mind this lineup at all. I mean, the one thing I would probably have looked at, although it doesn't look like you had the money for it. Like if I was playing Chris Conley, it would have been nice if you could have gotten in one of those Pittsburgh wide receivers to correlate that. But I thought Brandon Cooks was a good one-off play. And I actually thought he was going to be higher owned. He was the guy I was fading because I thought he was going to be more in that 15 to 20% range. So I think this is a good lineup. I really do. I think getting Zeke at that low ownership there made a lot of sense. The interesting thing for you is you had Browns D going early, so that worked out. But then your other two early pieces, Chris Conley and Brandon Cooks, didn't really hit. So one other interesting thing might have been trying to pivot to something like Aaron Jones here over Dalvin Cook and then getting Thielen in. Because I think it would have been hard for you to really crash the leaderboards with these two scores from Conley and Cooks there. So that's the only thing I would have maybe considered is getting off the Dalvin chalk after those two pieces didn't hit. But I don't mind letting it ride. I think it's close, and you raised your floor probably for your cash equity here, and you were able to 3x. So I think that's a pretty good lineup. Thanks, Siler. Siler is the man behind the Deposit Kingdom Discord. If you're on my channel, that link is in the show notes. Lots of good discussion going on in there. Siler just popped the link here in the Discord or in the YouTube chat. It is a good time. We even have a drink chasing channel, an homage to the other show I do, Ship Chasing. Lots of beer talk in there. Lots of guys talking about triple mango IPAs, and then I come in there, post a photo of my empty Red Stripe bottles. It's a great time. It's a great time. Let's see it. Luis Jose says, how can you use the RotoGrinders lineup HQ to know which games to target, or the stack finder? New member there. Yeah, so I was actually using lineup HQ this week. Let me see. Let me go here to RotoGrinders, and I will show you one of the things that I was using this week. Alex jumping in the chat. Sorry, just popping in. I'm a donk. Which contest is this? We've been jumping around talking about lots of stuff, but I was reviewing my lineup in the SPY, the big SPY, $100 or $100 entry, 100K to first. I got 14th. Bales. 6 spots ahead of me. It's just like,
Just so tilting. Just so tilting. Come on, Bales. Anyways, let me go to lineup HQ here. I want to see if some of my stuff is still saved. And I can show you a couple things that I like looking at. Looks like this was on. Let me go back to the main slate here. Yeah, what the hell? 83 people watching and only 10 likes? That's bullshit. Please like it. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Alex says Bales crushed it. You know who else crushed it, Alex? Me. I crushed it. Everyone wants to just slobber all over Bales. Bales, you're so cool. You do so many push-ups. You have sex on a jet ski in the middle of Lake Tahoe. Yada, yada, yada. No, this is my stream. Comments about me. Only me. Okay, so I wanted to show you this, Lewis. So this was a thing that I did here with the Save Stacks tool. And I actually used this tool as not from an Opto Bro standpoint, but actually as a jumping off point for getting ideas on stacks. And the reason I love this is you can do a stack finder here. You can select what kind of stack you want, QB to a wide receiver and tight end, blah, blah, blah. You can select your games, and then you can hit find stacks here, and it populates it with, I think, really helpful information here, which is how much it's projected for in points, what the total salary costs, what the average points per dollar you're getting, and the cumulative average ownership. And so what I like to do here, and you'll notice, what was this number one stack that popped up when I used the settings, quarterback to wide receiver, tight end, and I had all the teams, and I went through here. My top stack was the one I used. Justin Herbert to Keenan Allen. Oh, sorry, it's Jamison Crowder coming back. I didn't use that one. I think here's the Mims one. Okay, over here on the right. Herbert, Keenan, Mike Williams, Denzel Mims coming back. So I really like using this to start to get an idea for how stacks compare. Because the thing that's hard for me is, like, we all can identify double stacks. Like, we now intuitively know how to do that. Okay, this guy, 2 pass catchers, bring back yada, yada. But the hard thing is to juggle all of the variables in your head. What is the value on the points per dollar we're getting? Oh, what is the ownership on it? Oh, where is our ceiling on this? And so being able to view it all here just in one kind of easy displayed thing, I think is really helpful for me to know, like, oh, okay, this is way more raw points. This Jamison Crowder one, 105.6, it's projecting for 6 more points because of Jamison Crowder's projection. And yet the value, though, is much better on this one. We're saving almost 3,000 more points per dollar there. So I liked using this, Jose, to get on some ideas for stacks here and also see how popular they were going to be. What does this say? Another L for Pete this week? I won $2,000, brother. Oh, I recognize you, Ibdi. You were trolling me because I played Mike Davis last week. This guy trolled me for, having the very courageous take of playing a 70% owned Mike Davis. Love you, MD. Thank you for always watching my content. Let's see this. Let's see here. Any reason not to use Henry? I used Henry in a lot of lineups. We can go over to this other lineup. This was in the other spy. Bricked out here. Derrick Henry was one of my favorite plays, although he did come in higher owned than I thought. Basically, the ownership on Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones was flipped on how I thought it would go. But I loved the Derrick Henry, and I went back to the double stack. One of the reasons I got on the double stack again with Lamar here is because I knew Andrews was going to be popular. I knew Lamar Jackson to Andrews would be popular, and I did think Marquise Brown was the way to get unique there. And I subscribed to the Advanced Analytics Substack. Every Thursday or Friday, they send out an email with their kind of rundown of the top correlations on the week. And one of the things that they profiled in that, and by the way, Advanced Analytics does a weekly show with Blender hosted by RotoGrinders. It's one of my favorite shows. They talk almost exclusively about correlations and top stacks. Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews are very positively correlated. which doesn't make at first blush intuitive sense to me. But then the more I actually thought about it, it did, because when Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews crush, it's a product of the entire Ravens offense crushing. Now, we haven't seen that this year. I think Willie Snead is the product of when the offense isn't doing as well. They're dinking and dunking. They're not having the explosive plays we saw last year. But to me, if those guys hit, if Lamar Jackson hits his 5th percentile outcome, I think he definitely could support both Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews there. So that's how I got on the double. Derrick Henry as the bring back. He sucked out in overtime. The lineup doesn't quite get there. When you have the 0, you don't get the play from the Falcons. This one I didn't pivot because I had already had Adam Thielen in it and I didn't have Dalvin Cook. So I let Michael Gallup ride here. I'm now playing whatever defense is playing Philly. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't box yourself into any rules. I'd check the price. I'd check the ownership and then let it rip. Should have played the $1,500 game changer, bro. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, huh? Actually, I think Bales won that. I don't think I would have won. But you can always say that about all of these contests, right? You should have had it in this. Why was it this the week I put it in the millionaire? It would have the $500 millionaire. It would have made 4,000. For some reason, I don't get FOMO like that for a couple of reasons. One, because what about all the weeks where I brick it out and now I'm just hemorrhaging money because I'm extended over, the bankroll constraints I want to play in. And then the other thing is I do put it in more smaller dollar entries. I've been, I get in the main single entries and then I'll do, there's a $75 3 max. I sometimes do the $33 5 max. I'll make sure that every lineup I have is in 2 to 3, 2 to 4 other lineups or contests. So if I do win, I actually can reap the benefits of that across a few contests. So I do think in general, though, that is a good thought process. Like, we put all this time into hand building these beautiful lineups. Let's actually try to capitalize when we are right. But I don't get FOMO of being like, man, what if I would have hunted through my couch cushions and found enough money for the luxury box this week? Boy, would that have been good. Let's see here. I felt like a donkey from pivoting from Dalvin Cook to Justin Jefferson, only for Jefferson to be 22% owned. Yeah. This was, I think, another thing about looking at ownership, updated ownership before. And I will show you guys my spreadsheet here. I have, I'm embarrassed by my spreadsheet because I suck at this stuff. But I do, it does help me see all of this stuff in one spot. But I want to show you something I was looking at on Sunday morning when I pulled in the ownership here. And look at what I'm seeing at the top. So these 3 columns here, KLM, these are looking at different ownership. The far column is just average ownership I'm seeing. So I'm looking at this and I'm seeing Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. Dalvin Cook at 40%, Justin Jefferson at 17%. I got off of the Justin Jefferson pivot. I really wanted Justin Jefferson to be the pivot. You know me. I love my rookie wide receivers. It was just in week 7 when we had Alexander Mattison chalk week, and Justin Jefferson absolutely smashes as the perfect direct leverage on Alexander Mattison ownership. We didn't have that week. It was Adam Thielen who was that leverage. Instead of getting Justin Jefferson at half the ownership of Dalvin Cook, the pivot was to Adam Thielen with a fourth of the ownership. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, that was a bad pivot. I think considering, getting off of Cook no matter what, if you were behind, made a ton of sense. But I think I'm just trying to highlight this idea of making sure you're looking at updated ownership on Sunday mornings, because Justin Jefferson got steamed throughout the week. His ownership kept going up and up and up. And Adam Thielen really became the nice pivot there. Did you play any Taysom Tebow? I think I made one lineup, one of my 5. I put in a $27 single entry with Taysom. I did Taysom to Michael Thomas I did Taysom to Jared Cook with Julio Jones on the bring back. So that didn't work out. He wasn't my favorite play, but I understood it. I understood the thesis of the play. Let's see here. Blake Sanders says, Pete, I have been watching this in the Swolecast all year. As a result, I've been able to build my bankroll from $400 to over $9K. How much commission do I owe you? You don't owe me anything, brother. The fact that you could learn anything from the Swolecast, I mean, that's incredible on its own. Nice work, Blake. Very nice work grinding that bankroll up. And now you got to stay a knit like me. Stay a knit like me. Keeping relatively my same volume, just trying to run this up. Run this up. What are your early takeaways for next week? Ownership. I haven't looked at anything. I'm focused on the Thanksgiving slate. I'm excited about the Thanksgiving slate. And yet, honestly, seeing the Lions, I watched a lot of that game yesterday because in one of our tilt space lineups, we put it in the $500 Millie, the $400 three max juke. We had a PJ Walker stack. And Leone got me on this. I felt really uncomfortable about it. And the Panthers stuff worked out great. We had DJ Moore, we had Curtis Samuel, and then we brought it back with some Lions. TJ Hawkinson and Marvin Hall. And boy, watching that Lions game, Matt Patricia, man, I'm going to get me a Matt Patricia voodoo doll, poke a lot of needles in it. He's so tilting, man. That offense was so frustrating to watch without Kenny Golladay and DeAndre Swift. All right, we got people dropping prices in the chat. You got guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't think I'm going to look at Sunday week 12 stuff until Friday. We got to focus on Thanksgiving, guys. We can't just zoom over Thanksgiving. It's a 3-game slate. No, I am playing the Thanksgiving Spy. Even a midweek nit like me is going to play the Thanksgiving Spy. I actually already registered for it. I woke up this morning and I pulled up my mission from DraftKings and they said, you must spend $50 in a contest for 750 crowns. And I said, all right, I'll register for something. And I ended up in the Thanksgiving Spy. So I'll see you in them streets. What is optimal in terms of how unique you need to get on the Thanksgiving slate? So one thing I really like looking at is Eric Beimfor at RotoGrinders. He writes these articles for all of the showdown slates and also the short slates called Slate IQ. One of my favorite pieces on RotoGrinders, he looks at historical trends for similar matchups based on spread and team composition. And one thing that he has highlighted, and I won't, give away all the, what is it? I don't want to give away the cow if you can get the milk for free, something like that. But one thing he has talked about that is underutilized on those short slates is onslaughts, really going heavy on one team, using quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end from the same team. So that's something I'll be thinking about, and hopefully he'll put out an updated piece for this specific Thanksgiving slate. So to answer your question, I'm more interested in getting unique through construction than I am through really thin one-off plays, but we'll cross that bridge. Double Swolecast this week. I forget what we promised. I think we said if we got to 2,500 YouTube subs, we would do the double show. I think we're like 250 subs away. I do have the link down. I mean, I assume most of you guys watch the Swolecast. Maybe not. There's the link down there. If you guys want to go subscribe to the Swolecast YouTube channel, we will do a double show. And I think Tuttle and I've been getting a lot of shit for my drinking lately, so maybe this isn't the thing to be so proud of, but Tuttle and I are going to booze for a 2:30 p.m. Wednesday show. Not the best idea for me either, because I think I now have 3 other shows on Wednesday, and that'll be my first show. So it could be a long, rough day for me, but if you want to see Tuttle getting toasted on a Wednesday, the Swolecast is for you this week. Alan Burns says, where's the link for the Listener League? It's not pinned in the RotoGrinders feed or your channel feed. It's in the comments. It's the pinned comment on my video, on this video. And if for some reason you can't find it, you can hit me up on Twitter at Peter Overzet. I'll send you the link. Hollywood Smash Thursday. Yes, I probably will go back to Marquise Brown. How much does Marquise Brown cost? How much is he on DraftKings? I will, because I'm just a sick masochist. Where's the link for your league? It should be in the YouTube video here below. Is it not showing up for people? Now I feel like I'm going crazy. Tell me if you guys see this here. I'll look. Oh, this is like Inception. I'm about to see myself on the screen. See it right here, guys? Pin comment. Whipped up a T-giving bankroll challenge league on DK. $10, 150 man. There's the link. Right here, if you're watching this video, the link is right there. Double Swolecast. Can't wait. We need to get those subs, though. I can't make any promises. I think that we want to do one on Friday if we can. But we got to get those subs up. Keep the booze flowing, man. Yeah, this is not a great week for me to try to scale back booze. I'm going to take today off. I'm going to take Tuesday off. And then we're gonna come at it hard on Wednesday. Pete, why no LaMichael P. Ryan run back? He was the top value on the slate. Anytime we could get a Joe Holka needle in on this show, I am about it. Joe Holka sent me a Discord message this morning, and it was just complete relief. He said, I'm so thankful that LaMichael P. Ryan week is over. And I said, Joe, I don't think it ever started. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. What made you avoid all the cheap running backs? Felt like there were plenty of options there. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I've definitely been normally playing more cheap running backs. I just didn't like a lot of them this week. The one guy I played in one of my lineups was Savon Ahmed at 4,800. I thought he was a nice play, but I didn't like all those low 5 guys. Did not like Duke Johnson at that ownership. I was intrigued by JD McKissick earlier in the week, and then ownership was steaming on him. Didn't like that. Didn't like Gio. It was mainly an ownership thing. I didn't like how that was shaking out there. And I did really like Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry because they weren't going to catch a ton of ownership. So this week, my player pool at running back just kind of condensed around those top options. I had some Mike Davis too. So that's just kind of how it shook out. I didn't think we didn't have the DeAndre Swift this week that was popping down there. That was cheap, low owned, nice upside. Samaje Perine, I think they're cousins. Samaje Perine and LaMichael Perine. Guess it's just me. I can't see any comments. Weird. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll send you the link. The reason I am nervous about it is because I've mentioned this before, but YouTube will give strikes to channels. I know RotoGrinders channel has had to deal with this, and lots of poker channels, like linking out to any site. They just had something in their algorithm that flagged it, and then they give your channel a strike, and it's a whole disaster. So trying to avoid that. So I use the comments, or if you want to hit me up on Twitter, I will send you the link to get into the league. Or if you hop in the Discord, I'm sure we can share the link there. Yeah, I'm sorry that it's not populating. Maybe it'll populate when the show's over. I'm sorry. At what ownership do you start to think about pivoting off of guys like these lower end RBs this week? Yeah, I don't have a hard and fast rule. One thing that I'm looking at though is like these plays are naturally going to be thinner plays, right? Down in those low 5s, high 4s. And so if I'm taking on the risk of a thinner play, I want them to be lower owned. And so I would say my just kind of subconscious gut reaction is if they're over 10%, I'm generally starting to feel a little uneasy about it. And I think you can apply that to other one-off play situations. Same with, it seems like this week wasn't a great example, but a lot of times we'll have guys in the low 3s who everyone gravitates to one of them for some reason, even though they're all pretty thin plays. And so I just don't think playing the thin plays at high ownership makes sense. That's just kind of, I think, a valuable rule of thumb. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule. It also has to do with the composition of the rest of your lineup and how chalky it is. Is it correlated? And that makes more sense. But yeah, in general, I don't want to be playing thin plays over 10% ownership, I would say. Yes, I will post. The second I get off of here, in a few minutes, I will go and I will post the link in the Discord. Nick Bird just told me Hollywood is down to 4,700 on the Thanksgiving slate. An $1,100 discount. I mean, that is a Black Friday sale. We must trust the process with Marquise Brown. I will say too, I think I saw someone saying this on Twitter. They make the Thanksgiving pricing so soft. They really want everyone to be able to build superstar lineups. I can't wait for Marquise Brown to end up being like 40% owned because assholes like me talk him up as a great martingale contrarian play. Oh my goodness. How tilting was the MVS fumble in OT with your Aaron Jones Pittman? Yeah, it was it was frustrating because you look, I mean, you can do this any week, right? You can look at any lineup and you can say, if this happens and then this happens, I win $100,000. This week it did hit closer to home here. I mean, I'm basically 10 points off of first for $100,000, $98,000 swing. And man, Mims getting targeted in the red zone, Aaron Jones losing a goal line end zone reception to Jamal Williams. Michael Williams, as if I'm on a formal name with him. Mike Williams also was near some other big plays. It happens. But I did get the Dalton Schultz TD. Like sometimes you run good, 4 receptions, one of them goes for a TD. So I can't complain. But yeah, if I just can hit a little bit more of a ceiling on Aaron Jones at 6%, although again, Bales did have me blocked on Aaron Jones and Mike Williams, or Aaron Jones and Michael Pittman. So I needed to get there elsewhere. Mims was the guy I really needed to rip one off. Yeah, that Jamal Williams. Here's the thing. I actually don't even get tilted because we have so much of an example of how the Packers use these running backs. Like, I don't think you're allowed to, we still can tilt Jamal Williams, but I don't think we should because we just know that's going to be the deal. We have never seen anything to indicate that they're not going to use Jamal Williams. So it's tilting, but it's not. When you play Aaron Jones, you're just hoping for one of those outlier weeks that he has, 2-3 times a year where he goes for 40 plus points. It felt like things could be breaking this way for him. I saw Levitan. I was reading his cash game review. I like to see what those cash game donkeys are thinking, so I'll read his review. He thinks Aaron Jones still might not be fully okay since returning from his injury. Maybe. Let's see here. Thanksgiving hack, 12 p.m. game onslaught to look good to your family. Ooh, are you saying screenshot equity with the fam? Look at this, fam. Look at this. I'm winning $1 million. That could be a good strategy. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. This has been fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. It feels nice to get back in the win column here. I will update my spreadsheet fully when I get off the air. Didn't win anything here, but again, pretty nice time. This is the first time in Bankroll history, I believe, that we are in the green. The first time our bankroll is higher. And now maybe we open it up a little bit. Maybe we'll mix it up a little bit. We're going to do the $100 spy for Thanksgiving. Who knows? Maybe we do something like we start playing the power sweep. We could do the 3 max power sweep, 150 each. I don't know. Or do you guys like the spy? Let me know in the comments what contest you would like to see me play now that we got a little more cheddar to work with. I'm a man in the fleets, but a freak in the spreadsheets this week, guys. Hit the subscribe button. I'll be back on Friday. Yeah, I'll be back on Friday with a guest to break down the main slate. I'm going to be too busy on Wednesday to do a special Thanksgiving DFS show. But yeah, lots of stuff. We'll have Swolecast, all of that good stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thank you to RotoGrinders for having us. Good week. Good luck, and have a good week. We'll see you guys next time.